All right, let's get going. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Quick Wins webinar for your shop. This webinar is designed specifically for you. Everybody that's on the line right now has probably experienced that the technicians and service advisors don't do inspections consistently. And after this webinar, that's going to change. How can I be so sure? Because the tips and tricks you'll see here today have already helped dozens, if not hundreds of shops just like yours. Let's get started in the process. There's no time to waste when it comes to making money and having more satisfied customers. And let me quickly establish that what we talk about today, all of you have similar challenges. So if you could please respond to the poll and let me know, is this kind of what you're seeing in your shop? I'd like to know that you can log into your business control panel. I know some of you are having some trouble, and we'll get into that later. All right, let's move along. So I hope you got a pencil sharpened and ready to go. So techs and advisors have been doing digital inspections for, paper inspections for a very long period of time, and they really haven't had much success that way. They're really too much work and not enough money is produced by using them. Would you agree with that? So instead of chasing your technicians and advisors and reminding them of doing inspections, you'll be able to see how the data on your screen will tell you exactly how they're doing. We're going to use an example of another shop at the end to go ahead and show you exactly how it's been working for them and how it will work for you when you follow the process. Let me take this poll down. And so techs pencil whip inspections because they simply don't get enough work back from the service advisor. They've all but given up and they don't really feel digital inspection is going to change this at all. I'm going to show you how techs will see the results just by taking a few of the right kind of pictures, and they'll see the results within 1 week. You guys up to that? So we also want to make sure that we fully understand that the advisor, they're interrupted all day long, and additionally they're handcuffed to the phone since they have to explain some really complicated stuff over the phone. This picture on the left-hand side here is an example of kind of what they have to be able to explain to the customer over the phone, and that takes time. So instead of spending a lot of time explaining stuff over the phone, we want to get a higher approval rate by talking more or by letting the edited pictures speak for the service advisor. Instead of the service advisor walking the customer through the blank photos, we want to make sure the service advisor points out the pictures and the problem, how to fix it. So let's move on a little bit farther. So think about the things that are preventing you from doing wins or getting wins in your shop, and let's go ahead and make sure that we talk about removing the roadblocks. So what I'd like to do is back up a little bit and get some answers from you, some questions on some ways that we can get the technicians to go ahead and buy in on the program. So what are some things that motivate your employees, or specifically your technician? If you'll check off the ones that you find are good motivators, and we'll give you a couple minutes to fill that out. You should have a poll up on your screen. So we got a lot of people chiming in. More money is a good motivator, and never having to be interrupted by the service advisor, and so on. So you guys all really know a lot of things that can go ahead and motivate your technician. And I've still got some people chiming in, so let's let them finish up. We got a lot of people here with us today. It looks like number one on your list is money, and that's always good. Showing the customers that the shop is tried and true professionals, that's the second one on the list. So again, you guys got some great thoughts as far as what it takes to motivate your employees. Now what I want to do is I want to switch over to another poll, and let's talk about, get some feedback from you on what actually motivates your service advisors. You know, the things that a service writer could actually like to go ahead and have. And again, if you go ahead and use that picture that we showed earlier, and the service writer uses it properly, documents things properly, circles, arrows, and so on, do you really believe that you can get a lot more jobs specifically by educating the customer and letting the customer do it on their own time? So freeing up time is number 2 on the list right now. Saving time by not having to get the customers back to the shop. So you guys really got some great feedback as far as, what motivates your employees to do certain things. And I'm going to leave that poll out there clicking away for just a bit. See if we get my mouse to cooperate here. So again, you guys got some good ideas on how to motivate your staff. And now what we want to do is work on taking the roadblocks away from them as we move forward. And how we're going to do that is by introducing you to the quick win concept. So let's start quick wins that work, and these are guaranteed quick wins, and let's go ahead and outline what makes these wins so bulletproof when they're done properly. So the number 1 thing is they don't take very much time, and when I say not very much time, I mean time by the service advisor or the technician. The next thing is it has to be something that's highly obvious to the motorist, so some way that we can go ahead and educate the motorist without them having to wonder what's going on. And we have to bear in mind that we're educating the motorists on what would be perceived as a 6th grade automotive level. And it has to be something that happens every day, more importantly, on every inspection that goes through the shop. So today what we're going to focus on is one of 2 topics. The first one is going to be brake fluid condition. And the second one we focus on is going to be tire wear. So let's move on a little bit further. So this is a great example of what needs to happen in the shop. So your job as an implementer, and I'm going to put on my implementer hat for right now, and I'm going to transfer it to your head before we finish. So your job as an implementer is to make sure the technician cleans off the reservoir, looks at the fluid level, uses a tool like this to educate the customer, and then they take this specific picture. We also want them to go ahead and do what's part of their job also, and that is to go ahead and put that red arrow on it pointing right to here so there's no question in the customer's eyes on where we're trying to draw their attention to. And then the service advisor is going to take over from here, and they're going to make sure the picture's turned on. They're going to make sure it has the arrow in the appropriate position, and they're going to go ahead and make sure that the note on there actually matches. So by working together between the technicians and the service advisor, this is the exact picture that we want produced. Then the service advisor's job is to take it one more step. And that step is to make sure they send the inspection results to the customer. So again, it's a very simple process. You're just going to go down through the list and follow and create the exact same picture that we show on the screen. And I'm going to leave that up there just for a minute. So if you would, I put another poll up there, and what it's asking is, do you see how easily the brake fluid condition topic can be used as a quick win for your shop? Again, by everybody following the right process. The technicians doing their job, they're making life a lot easier for the service advisor, and they're making things that are highly educational for the customer. So if anybody doesn't believe that they can pull that off in their shop, would they please go ahead and chat in now what their barrier to doing that would be? And we'll give you just a few seconds to go in and chat in. So one of the most common ones I see is you don't have the brake fluid moisture meter. And I'll be providing you a link at the end where you can go order one from Amazon and get it delivered overnight. Or you can call your local parts store and tell them that you want an OTC moisture meter for brake fluid, and then you're there. So it's your job as an implementer to understand what's going on and remove any barrier that's keeping you from being successful. Yep, and that's entirely possible. Customers might doubt the seriousness of brake fluid, moisture, and so on. And again, don't let that be a barrier to success. Then what we might want to do is actually go ahead and have you choose the tire topic as yours, and that's where we're going to transition to next. So we know that every vehicle has got tires on it. So what I'd like to do is actually move on to there. So again, we're going to use the same exact process. As an implementer, you're going to make sure your technician knows that they're responsible to take a picture of the tread across the whole tire exactly like is in this picture here. So this is the type of picture that sells, and it's going to go ahead and get you approvals for wheel alignments, tires, suspension repairs, strut shocks, and so on. So the technician's job is to make sure they take this primary picture each and every time, and that is going to be of the tread wear patterns. They're going to go ahead and put an arrow on it, or if not, the service writer is going to follow through, and they're going to make sure that it happens. And now on this particular one, for instance, I on purpose didn't go ahead and put the note in here, what it would be, and we already know the service writers are responsible to do that. So if you would please chat in and tell me what type of note that you would add to this picture to inspire the customer to do something. If your chat box isn't opened, if you hold down the Alt key and hit the letter H, it will open right up for you. So again, what I'm looking for is, as an implementer, what would you, all right, now we're getting them in now. The tire is dangerous, you're gonna die. That's a little bit abrupt, but again, it's going in the right direction. So you're gonna make sure they have the seriousness of it. And we wanna go ahead and make sure the note's there. Cord showing dangerous condition, unsafe. Tire wear indicates the problem with this vehicle and alignment. So all you guys are really typing in some great information. The main thing is to make sure that we know that this picture should not go to the customer unless it's marked up appropriately. And again, it's still the service advisor's job to send it. So right here is a great example on the lower left-hand corner of what a expected note should look like. This tire is unsafe. It has steel belts exposed. Replace the tire and perform alignment to protect your new tire investment. So I'd like to go ahead and get you to answer the following poll. And so even if you don't sell tires, you agree that there's many other related services that can be discovered by following this process. Excellent. And I'm going to leave that up there and let you fill it in a little bit more as we continue. And so now let's go ahead and talk about a secondary picture. And so we already know on the tire tread condition that we want to make sure we explicitly have that picture, but you can see here, they've actually taken a picture of the tread depth on here also. So this can be a secondary picture, but we always want the picture to tread all the way across. That's the money shot. And again, the technicians use this. They've taken a secondary picture. It's got the tread depth measurement on it. The service writer is going to add the red arrow to it, and so on. And again, remember with your technician, when they take that picture, have them put the arrow on it themselves, because that's the same thing they would do if the customer walked out to the car. The technician would point it out and then add some notes on it. And regardless, it's the service writer's job to go ahead and send these off in all instances. So what I'd like you to do is, you've got some great responses there. And what I'd like to do is go through one more poll here. And what I want to know is, you need to pick one of the two topics that we talked about here to be your area of focus from your shop. So I'd like to launch a poll, and I'd like to know which topic you're going to use for your shop. We have some people that don't like the brake fluid topic. Some people don't like the tire topic. But again, which one of these two topics are you going to pick for your area of focus? And again, this is an exercise to prove a concept of quick wins, and then you can use this process on any other inspection topic you choose later on. So in September, end of September, October, Napa's got the shock promotion going on. You can use this same one then. So I'm going to leave that percolating through there as we go on. So when you correct performance problems in your shop, you have a proven process. You're going to use that same process when you're looking to improve performance in your business. You're going to choose the topic you want to improve, which in this case, we're going to choose either brake or tires. You're going to use data to document and determine the results of your success. And then you're going to measure, manage, and motivate your team by using the quick wins thought process in your shop. So right here, we've got a great example on the screen of a shop that's actually used this focus. And they've actually used this focus by using the cabin air filter instead of breaker shocks. But again, you'll get the idea. So this diamond right here is the date they started out doing it. And they're looking at this on a weekly basis. And so before they started, they were doing 3 cabin air filters per week. They started following the process, taking the pictures exactly the way they're supposed to, writing them up and so on. And then all of a sudden, the first week they do it, they're at 15 per week. They go to the next week, they're at 13 per week. And then they go next to, and we get to 14. So not only did the process work for them, it worked and it stayed consistent after they laid it out and put it in place. So let me go ahead and drag this poll down off the screen. And we've got a good split of shops that some want to do brakes and some want to do tire conditions, so that's perfect. So what I like to do is make sure that you understand that, you know, we want to do this process exactly like this and be able to measure as we go forward. So this process just works, and it can work over and over again. So now what I'd like to do is I'd like to switch over to a business control panel and show you how you're going to document this. And this is where I'd really like you to go ahead and follow along real closely. And first of all, if you'll respond with a poll and let me know that you've got your business control panel open. And then let's go through here. Excellent, great, you guys are chatting in. So from the home area, what I'd like you to do is go down to where it says primary and left click on it. And when your screen loads up, it should load up very similar to this. And in one of these areas, you should have ARO. I'd like you to click in the middle of it. And while that's loading on the screen, I'm going to go over here and take this poll off. And hopefully it'll be done loading here in a second. Well, let me drag it over here because it appears that we're having a technical difficulty. So if you could, please chat in and let me know that you see a business control panel in the middle of the screen.
Would you mind, Bill, for 1 second, going
Sure.
ahead and showing, there's a couple people that are not seeing arrow. Can you show them up once they get into insights, how maybe they can select it from the top menu bar for them?
Sure. So right now, when I'm in the insights area, if that's where you're at, up in the top center here, if you're on a different area, you can go through here and make sure that you choose ARO. And then if you would, let me know when you're ready to move on. And what I want to do is I want to scroll down on the screen here, and I'm going to turn this menu off because it's kind of condensed here. And what I want to do is I want to remove check mark from the inspection rate and edit rate or any other KPI that you have turned on. And I want you to grab this bar and I want you to go down to the bottom or wherever you find it. And basically what we want to do is we want to find cabin job number 1 and 2. When you find it, I want you to go ahead and click on the check mark for turning it on. I want you to go down and I want you to find the job that you want to produce by the inspection topic you chose. So in my example, I'm going to use the brake fluid exchange. So that's my first job. And then I'm going to scroll down a little bit lower. And I want to come in here and choose this next one. And I want to go ahead and choose brake inspection because that's the other job that I want generated by doing this. And somewhere in this list, I should have a brake inspection. Right there. So now I've got the 2 jobs I want to focus on. And again, these are sold jobs that are money in the bank. So we want to measure, by doing the process 100% correctly, we want to measure the jobs we actually produce. When you go to measure this on a daily basis going forward, what you're going to do is come up to the top here and you're going to change it to the last 7 days. So that way you can report back to your shop on a daily basis what's going on and share their success with them immediately rather than having to wait. Or if it's not working right, you can go in and tune up whatever the struggle is. The next thing I want to do is come over here down on the left-hand side underneath the graph. There's this one that says calendar, new event. I want you to go and choose when you're going to start this. So if you're choosing the tire topic, you should be able to roll this out to your staff this afternoon and start tomorrow. If you're doing the brake topic and you got to wait for fluid detectors to show up, you can roll it out to this afternoon, order them from your parts store and start tomorrow. But regardless, we don't want to delay getting started on this because we want to measure and move forward. In the event, what you're going to do is enter the topic that you're going to focus on. And I'm going to learn how to type. And down here, you're going to go ahead and enter the jobs you want to produce. And I also wanted to go ahead and produce brake inspection. So if the fluid has got high moisture content or high copper content, I want to choose that. If it's dirty as mud, I want to choose it. And if it's low, I also want to do a brake inspection to find out why it was low. And again, this is the topics we want to focus on now. But again, the same process can work on any topic that you want to use in your shop going forward. So I'm going to stop here and go ahead and launch a poll and make sure that you go ahead and respond and let me know that you've done that. What it's going to do when you finish, after you've done here, your job is to go and hit create event, and it's going to drop a nice black diamond on your timeline that you can go ahead and use to see that this is when you started it, and you can see going forward that you followed through. We are going to, at the end here, I'm going to put some links in there that's going to go ahead and show you some PowerPoint slides that have the exact pictures that you're going to take on there. So that's a really great observation. So give you guys, folks, a little bit more time to go ahead and fill that out. And on this shop, I'm not going to do this because this is somebody's live shop that they just let me go ahead and borrow. So I'm going to go ahead and press close instead.
Also, while you guys are documenting in the business control panel, if you guys are interested in showing your staff the pictures that we presented during the webinar, whether it's the brake fluid moisture test or the tire tread photo, those have been posted on the Facebook Digital Shop Talk forum, and you're welcome to grab them from there as well. They're listed as an announcement when you first log on to the forum.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and paste some information into the chat here, so you can go ahead and grab that and bookmark it if you like. It has links to the exact same pictures that Chris is talking about and some material as far as how to go ahead and conduct a meeting in your shop. So we've still got a few people going ahead and figuring out the documentation. And like I said, if you've got any questions, if you please chat them in. And again, the thought process here is that you can use over and over again on any topic in your shop. Get with your staff, decide what your focus topic is going to be, explain to them exactly what pictures are going to go ahead and do the job and how you want it written up, and then how to measure and rack up the wins. Time-wise, we're a few minutes over, but I'd like to go ahead and hang on in case anybody has any questions. Please feel free to chat them in. Chris, do you see any questions that came in there that I missed?
There was one from Thomas. He was curious where you enter the text for the picture. I went ahead and answered it, but I think it's a great one to cover live.
Absolutely. So when the technician takes a picture on his tablet, the next window that pops up after he says to use it is going to be where he can add that red arrow, so he can go ahead and drag it out there, and that's going to be his digital red finger, just like he's at the side of the car. And then just to the right of that red arrow, there's a little box that they can tap on that looks like a notepad. They can tap on that and add the text to go ahead and describe the picture in customer-friendly terms. We don't want it to be in technician lingo. You know, think about your customer being an automotive sixth grader, and that's how we want to work with that. And I'm going to go ahead and end this poll, and there's just one more here, is do you feel that you can actually do this and pull it off in your shop on these two topics, on either one of these two topics, and also use this as a tool for any other topic you guys choose to work on in your shop? And that's exactly correct. If other shops just like me can do this, I can damn sure do it too. That's a great attitude. Let's look down and see if we have any new messages. So sometimes you'll only see one of them canned jobs in the window, and that's because you may not have used the other one during the time frame. So if you select 30-day window, you may not have done a job during that. So you can widen it out to 90 days or 120 days or a wider window. And again, these are actually jobs that are sold. So unfortunately, kind of what it's telling you is you haven't sold that job within the time period you selected. So that was a great question. So Thomas had responded in there. I'm not quite sure how to answer that. I'm explaining to you the best practices that go ahead and get approvals across the largest number of shops, and that is for the technician to point out on the picture where they want the service writer and the customer to look. And they also put text on the picture to go ahead and explain it. And if you think about how a customer thinks is, if they open a picture and they don't see the notes on it, they may not be able to go ahead and understand when they close that picture what text goes with it. And Tony, you might want to get with your digital trainer and have them look at with you on that. They should be in alphabetical order. Sometimes the description in your shop, instead of being, oh, it might say brake inspection or brake fluid exchange, it might say BG brake fluid exchange or perform brake fluid exchange and so on. So it may be in a different spot on the list.
We have a call today. I'll help you out on our call, Tony.
If we don't see any other questions coming in, let me know. We'll go ahead and hang on until the last question comes in, and then we'll break. So somebody asked about the brake fluid moisture detector. I know in my shop that we use the OTC brand one, and we always use a good quality fluid out of a closed container, a brand new container, and they work real well. So that might be one to look at. There's a lot of other ones listed out on Amazon on the link that I gave you, but there's plenty of them out there. And again, you might go ahead and you know, not like the fluid moisture detector. That's fine. Then what I would suggest you to do to go ahead and prove this concept to your staff as far as a quick win, choose the tire topic and use it to generate wheel alignments, tire rotations and balance. Technician can grab the top and bottom of the wheel, find loose wheel bearings and all kinds of things like that.
In addition, if for some reason you don't feel either one of these topics are sufficient, please get a hold of your trainer and we can make sure we apply this to any topic. The goal is this is a process that works and it can be applied across the board. We simply want you to test it out with these two so you guys can get familiar with the process.
So Kimberly is asking who their trainer is. So you should have somebody that's assigned to your shop to call. They should have actually helped you go ahead and set up to go ahead and get in this webinar, and that would be the person. If not, go ahead and chat in your shop name, and we'll go ahead and hunt them down for you.
Hey, Bill, I take care of Kimberly. Kimberly, this is Chris Maggard. I am your trainer.
Excellent. So if there's anybody still on the line that doesn't feel they can do this, please go ahead and chat in. Let's go ahead and remove the barriers now so that way we can use this process and continue forward. There is some of the testers out in the market that will handle both .3 and .4. The best thing to do is know your tool and maybe go ahead and check with the supplier on it. I think the OTC ones, when you look them up, I think they've got 2 different versions, but I think one does .3 and 4. And Wayne was actually chatting in that his does both.
Wayne, if you would be so kind, would you possibly go to the Facebook post out on the forum where you see the quick wins announcement and either take a picture or place the type of tester that you're using in there for others?
So Kimberly had asked a question in there off topic, but what's the best practice is going over to DVI with employees to make sure they understand. So my favorite way to do it is to go and choose the topic. I like to go to the technicians and service writers as a team and have a discussion. And the discussion would be along the lines with the technician. When you're looking at this topic, what jobs you want it to produce. I make sure that I put those jobs in the inspection sheet as an action, map it to my management system. And then on the condition side, I ask the technicians and service writers, what conditions do you guys know that should go ahead and trigger that job? And then I'll put the condition in there and I'll put some customer friendly notes describing that to the customer. So the brake fluid, if the moisture content's over a certain point, we want to go ahead and have it point directly to a brake fluid exchange. And the customer note should say something along the lines of your brake fluid is over the moisture level. This means the boiling point's been changed. And then maybe go ahead and choose the video that goes with it. But working together as a team in your shop between the whole staff understanding exactly what should be done on a topic. And I look at inspection sheet, topic editing kind of like vitamins. If you attack one a day, it just makes your staff grow big and strong. So the question is, can you look at the individual advisors on that graph? And the answer is yes. The service advisor that sold the job is going to be on there, and the technician that did the job is going to be on there. And if you use it in your multi-shop business control panel, you can see all your employees ranked from high to low. So these are all great questions that are coming up, and I highly encourage you to get with your trainer to go ahead and show you how to do this.